because I believe science might offer an answer to the curse of the Bambino.
Why someone took so long to hire that guy is beyond me. Anybody who's not tearing their team down right now and rebuilding it using your model, they're dinosaurs. One of the great things about money is it buys a lot of things. One of which is the luxury to disregard what baseball likes, doesn't like, what baseball thinks, doesn't think. This is threatening, not just a way of doing business, but in their minds, it's threatening the game.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
All right, welcome to another episode of the Baseball Opps podcast with TopV. Once again, I'm going to say another great episode. This is fun. More into the realm of, getting out there. I wouldn't say recruiting because it's really not recruiting, but an exposure. So another great podcast in the world of exposure for baseball athletes, baseball players. I think this is important because, a lot of guys who come here to Top Velocity work so hard, like Al Hannon Miller, one of our last testimonials, to get himself in a position to be seen or be attractive and seen as highly valuable at a professional level. Or even if it wasn't Al, it was one of the other guys at a college level. How do you, once you have these talents, how do you get it out there? We talked with Billy the other day, or we did an episode with Billy, and he has Meet a Prospect. It's a great way where he can kind of do the same thing. That's actually more of a recruiting-based service. And what we're going to look at today with Prospect Dugout is really more of an exposure-based service and how they're really even building it into its own social network. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be fun, really cool. Joel Hartman behind Prospect Dugout, who's the COO. He'll make that clear in the interview. Him and I actually played together. Once again, small world of baseball, fall into or meet another guy. In the interview, we find out we played together because he recognized my Ricky Henderson bobblehead, which is the bobblehead of Ricky Henderson when he played for the Surf Dogs. And actually, Joel played for the Surf Dogs, but our winter league team called the Sonora Surf Dogs. So it was pretty cool. We actually played together. But I really like what Joel's doing. It's just amazing how they launched this in 2016, and Prospect Dugout has over 140,000 followers. So if you've never heard of them before, I suggest you go to Instagram and search Prospect Dugout or at Prospect Dugout, and you'll be impressed. I don't want to give away what they really do because that's what the whole interview's about. I don't know. What do you want to add? What are you excited about with Prospect Dugout, Steven?
I was about to give away more of what they do.
Don't give it away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now. Okay. Yeah. Cool. But yeah. No. I really like just I think he really mastered the platform with Instagram. I think like players are going to get value from this. I think coaches and people that are on social media are going to get value from this, and it's just great to see how social media is kind of evolving to help the athlete with exposure, with the recruiting process. It makes it, I think, just a lot easier, and I think there's a lot more opportunity now for guys to get really good at making these videos and putting them on social media and being seen by hundreds of coaches and scouts, and it just gives you so much more opportunity. Than like he talks a lot about people that were kind of in smaller towns that just don't really have the opportunity to go out and get exposed. So I think it's a really cool interview, and it's just kind of going along those lines of just bringing a lot of value to players and coaches both and facilities to get exposure.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, most of those playing baseball today are on Instagram, on social media, and a lot of them, that's how they get their news, and that's how they get their information. So he's basically helped, using that platform, helped create a network of a place for scouts, coaches, other players to learn, like the news, to learn who's doing well or who's out there or who's having success. So that's really what it serves, the purpose it serves. They also have the app that they're going to talk about. It's a really cool app. It really is going to be, I think what Joel says, like a LinkedIn for baseball. It just creates a great community, and it gives you some really cool things like the ability to do an advanced search and search for players or even parents private instructors, facilities, and teams through the app to learn more about the talents and learn more about instruction and just kind of help you find the network of baseball around you. So I really like how they've taken what they've created in Instagram, like this great hub for young talent coming up and allowing them to be kind of put on the stage for everyone to see. And then they've brought it into this app that's making it even more of a great place to go and interface with this network and be able to search and communicate and share, and even to the point of booking. And so we don't want to give much away. We're already starting to give it away. So it's really cool. It's really exciting.
Yeah, you broke your own rule, man.
I know. I started giving too much away. So the thing is, we're going to start the interview now, but I suggest go to Prospect Dugout on Instagram, at Prospect Dugout. Also, when you go there, click in their bio link to download their app. I think you're going to be very impressed. It's not just some run-of-the-mill app. They've really worked very hard to develop a really good app to help you get exposure and get yourself out there and learn more about your community and how to get even help. And we're even doing something right now with them where we're answering questions on their Insta stories. We're answering questions for all of their people on what we do at Top Velocity, pitching velocity, throwing velocity for position players. So we're starting to do some stuff with them, which is really cool and exciting. But let's get started. I want to give it away. So here we go. All right, we're going to have a great interview today. We've got Prospect Dugout on the line here. We've got Joel Hartman, CEO. You know, to tell you the truth, Joel, I'm just learning about Prospect Dugout, but my partner here, Steven, knows a lot about you. He's very impressed by what you do, and he's told me that I think he says this is going to be a really good show because what you're doing is really cool. Specifically, I don't know, is this your biggest platform? But on Instagram, which, you know, that's where the place to be is today when it comes to getting it out there, getting out what your business is or what it does. Is that your only platform?
Actually, no. First things first, I'm not the CEO. I'm the COO.
Okay, let's nail that down.
My business partner, he would get mad at me. My business partner is Craig Maddox. We're co-founders together. We co-founded it in November 2015. But yeah, Instagram is definitely our biggest platform that we have right now. We do publish content onto Facebook and Twitter as well. But our main interaction and engagement place is Instagram.
So
it's definitely a hotbed for, you know, youth players and high school players who are, I mean, that's what they do. They're on their phone all day long when they're not in school. So, I mean, that's the place to be.
Absolutely.
So can you kind of like put it in a nutshell? Like tell us what Prospect Dugout represents in a nutshell?
Yeah, absolutely. So we came up with the idea, like I said, in November 2015, basically because we wanted to provide an opportunity for players of all skill levels, all demographics, to have the opportunity to get seen. I was actually at a showcase event and was just talking with Craig about it. And there's so many players out there that either they're not good enough, they don't have the money, or they don't know where to go for the showcases. So we wanted to come up with something that was going to be able to be a solution for those three problems. A lot of kids bypass showcases because they don't think they're good enough. Well, we want kids that may not think that they're good enough to have the opportunity to get seen, because you never know when there's a small college in the United States that's looking for that type of player. Mm-hmm. So we started the Instagram platform in January 2016 with the concept of getting that exposure for the players. Everything that we do is player-based. We don't create any content. Everything is generated by the actual players. So we started reposting their videos on our Instagram page. It took off. Started with 0 followers in January 2016, and just kept grinding away at it. And here we are now, 140,000 followers. That's
insane.
A year, a couple months later. But it's even bigger than that, actually, because the whole idea behind it was to figure out how to collaborate. I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but how to collaborate not just on social media, but how to collaborate with instructors, how to collaborate with facilities and teams, and then also get parents involved and coaches and scouts involved. So the concept that we came up with was actually, it's a mobile app. We have a mobile app out right now that allows players to get on there and create a showcase profile. So like you go to a Perfect Game tournament or a Prospect Wire tournament, you're going to get a profile, but that information is only there from that tournament or showcase that you attend. So if you only go to one a year, your name is not necessarily getting out there with your skills results and your stats as often as it should be. You know, you scroll through Instagram and you're seeing players all over the place that have their batting cage videos, their field videos, their game videos, all those types of things that they're hoping to get seen, but they don't know if they're going to get seen. So we wanted to create an atmosphere or kind of like a network or community where they could showcase themselves 24/7, 365. So if a kid is working really hard and he gets better, well, now we can see that progress on a daily basis because he has full control of putting that content up there.
So how successful has it been as far as for the player? I mean, do you have any great testimonials or you can give us some good stories about how this mission that y'all set out is really starting to work?
Good question.
Dude, we get DMs, like our DM box, I don't know how many it can hold, but it's way over full. We get emails all the time of kids asking for shout-outs, kids asking for exposure, kids asking for batting tips, pitching tips, fielding tips, kids asking, hey, can you hook me up with a college? Can you hook me up with a scout? You know, what do I need to do this? All kinds of questions. The feedback that we're getting is they love it. They absolutely appreciate the time that we're spending in not only reposting them, but actually giving them the credit that it's them and not, you know, taking their name off of it and, you know, trying to call it our own. We don't want the spotlight. We want the player to have the spotlight. So the feedback that we've been getting has been tremendous, supportive, and very thankful.
Well, that's awesome. So when they put that profile or they send you their information, obviously through the app, it sounds like that's the way to do it. And they send you that video, they send you, say, some content or some write-up on their bio. How do you then present that through your Instagram? Is there a certain process you go through of laying it out for them, or is it just pretty much raw data you're just like pushing over to your Instagram?
Right. So the content that we get and we put on Instagram right now is strictly from Instagram or Facebook if someone sends us something on Facebook or Twitter. The content that is being pushed up to the app platform stays on the app right now. Eventually, we're kind of in a beta mode right now. It's only been out for about a month and a half, and we're still, you know, adding the features that we need to be in there that haven't gotten in there yet, and we're still working out some kinks with it. But the data, the content that's going on there eventually will be transformed or transplanted over to Instagram in different ways. But the main concept behind the app is that it's going to be a community because there's not just profiles for players. There's profiles for parents. There's profiles for instructors. There's profiles for facilities and teams, and as well as college coaches and professional scouts. So what that allows them to do is it allows the players to post content, and it's a mix of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's kind of like a baseball LinkedIn profile. So there's a news feed that we call the Dugout news feed where you can post just like on Instagram, just like on Twitter. But then also on your profile, you can input a bio that you can tell everyone about yourself. You can input all of your statistical information or your showcase information such as 60-yard dash, catcher pop time, exit velocity, pitching velocity. And then there's a tab for your actual statistics, pitching stats, hitting stats, fielding stats. And then you can input your schedule. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to incorporate that with the team that you're involved in, or if you want to book a lesson, or you can go to the search function and you can search for instructors or facilities in your area. You can book lessons directly through the app. So basically, it's a community network that allows that encourages the interaction that we're hoping to get on Instagram that you're really not going to get because it's all over the place. With the hundreds of millions of users on Instagram, a small percentage of them are baseball and softball. But with the Prospect Dugout app, everyone that's on there is focused on baseball or focused on softball. So coaches can go on there and search through, and if they see a player that they like, look at highlight videos, look at his stats, see his schedule. Maybe he's playing near him coming up, and he can go take a look. it's a great opportunity for players who would never, ever get the chance to get eyes on them to have that opportunity to get seen.
So is most of the stuff on Instagram a repost?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
We get all that content comes from users on Instagram.
Okay, cool. Well, I like that. That's really cool. So it sounds like the app is really kind of like the evolution of Prospect Dugout. It looks like that's where you want everybody going because you're going to have way more services to offer them, correct?
Absolutely. And what we're doing is we're collaborating with different organizations that we've met or that we know. Like we were talking earlier, we realized that we played together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
10, 11 years ago. Baseball is a small world, but it's also a community. So we definitely want to get everyone onto the Prospect Dugout app, but we're collaborating with these different instructors and facilities to create that network atmosphere that's going to allow us to get players to go visit facilities and instructors that maybe they wouldn't have the reach to connect with, or to get facilities and instructors to have access to players that they didn't even know existed.
And this extends to college and scouts and stuff as well. Like, do you guys do anything where you have good connections with colleges or scouts, and you see a guy who has talent, and you want to get him in front of him? Like when guys are asking if you have any of those connections, are you guys able to send that content their way, or how does that work?
Yeah, we definitely have connections when it comes to college coaches and scouts. But as far as the mission and the idea with Prospect Dugout, we don't want to get involved in the recruiting process.
Okay.
We don't want to guarantee anything. We don't want to get anybody's hopes up.
Sure.
All we want to do is make sure that we're providing the best possible atmosphere for a player to get all of his baseball or softball information out there so it can be seen.
Cool.
And at the same time, too, you also want to help them find services that would help them improve their skills, it sounds like, too, correct?
100%. And so collaborations can involve hosting showcases, like running a pitching. I know you do pitching camps and clinics and showcases and things like that. Possibility of doing something like that where we can use our reach to kind of advertise and market for that and get that demographic that's near you to come to you, so that way you can expand your reach. But then also it's allowing the opportunity for players that are in some of these towns that nobody's ever heard of to get access to some of the better instructors and trainers in their area.
So right now, you're obviously urging players to go to prospectdugout.com. Is that where they can get to the app, or is there an easier way?
Yeah, much easier way. They can actually go to our profile on Instagram, which is at Prospect Dugout, and just click the link in the bio, and that takes you right to the App Store. Right now, it's only available on iOS, and that's just because we just launched about a month and a half ago, and so we're working through that, and then we're going to move into the Android phase. So the Android is coming.
Cool. And then also you're encouraging coaches and facilities to do the same. Is it the same
Absolutely.
Access through the same app?
Absolutely. The coaches, the instructors and facility profiles are actually a little bit different. They're a little bit more in-depth. What that's going to allow you to do with let's just say a facility profile. So you're a facility and you're running 10 travel ball teams. You have a 10,000 square foot space and you've got, 10, 15 cages. With the Prospect Dugout profile, you can manage your teams. You can manage your members that are in your facility. You can manage your lesson bookings. You can communicate with your players and parents. Each facility profile will have their own dedicated channel. And what that means is, like, if you go to Facebook and you go to, a group page or something like that, and everyone that's in that group, it's a closed group, public group, or whatever, our facility profiles will be closed groups to where everyone that is a member of that facility who is granted access by the facility will be able to see that content that the facility is putting out. Now, that doesn't mean that the facility can't put out content to everybody else. They can, but if they want to have private content that's going out to their members, they can do that. They can send bulk messages. They can send individualized messages. They can do schedule adjustments. They can make schedule changes. They can input their team stats, input highlight videos, photos, all different kinds of things. There's even a rating system on there. So if you're a player or a parent and you've attended that facility or gone to that instructor, you can actually leave a review and leave a rating. So that way others who go to that profile can actually see, hey, they're getting a good review, good rating. So, let me go check them out. And what's really cool about it is we have a function called Near Me, and that's a dedicated channel which is parallel to the Dugout news feed, that if you're looking at that channel, it's going to show you every player, instructor, and facility that's within a 50-mile radius of where you're at. So, you're going to a tournament wherever, and you're posting, footage from that tournament, or you're looking for a new instructor, you're out of town for, spring break or something, you want to see if there's any quality instructors in that area, you can go to the Near Me feed or go to the advanced search and find instructors that are, close to where you're at.
And is this a free service currently, or is this a paid service?
This is free for players. It's free for college coaches, and it's free for scouts. There is a paid membership for instructors and facilities and for parents.
And that's just going to be part of the registration process. You can pick that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So awesome. So, I'm loving this. I think this is really, really awesome. I think I can see why you guys are doing so well. So talk about when you started this. Obviously, the player interaction on Instagram really helped a lot of your marketing strategies. And you said a lot of this is organic, which makes sense. Is that, as you go forward, is that the marketing strategy you're going to stay with, is just try to come through Instagram to your outreach? Or are you guys looking for any of a broader reach in your marketing?
Yeah, definitely. Our reach is actually pretty large. It's all been organic. Everything that we've done has been organic. We've collaborated with different instructors, different facilities to kind of have an impact at the smaller demographic. And that's something we look to do on a larger scale, is kind of incorporate what we're doing from a marketing and advertising standpoint on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter, and even into the Prospect Dugout app. But we want to collaborate with these facilities and instructors across the country to be able to impact that local demographic and be able to, get those connections there. Because, to be honest, every time, we look at the analytics on our Instagram, it's like 2,000 to 3,000 more additional followers per week. So it's like there's so many more people out there that really haven't even heard of us. Mm-hmm. So there's so many kids, there's so many parents, instructors, facilities out there that we're still trying to connect with.
Well, I think it's really impressive. Any questions you have?
I would just be curious. You guys have really mastered Instagram as a platform. Could you give us some of if you feel comfortable with it, some of your strategies on how you guys were kind of growing it with hashtags and times you were posting? Did you guys have any strategies around that?
To be honest, it's something that we kind of just figured out. Hashtags are important, but mainly what it comes down to is the engagement and the interaction. Mm-hmm. Making sure that you're acknowledging who you're reposting, making sure that you're connecting with users, answering DMs, just making it to where, we want our followers to understand that there's actually people behind Prospect Dugout. Not that we're trying to be a face of Prospect Dugout, because we want the players to be the face, mm-hmm. but we want everyone to understand that we care about them, and we're going to do as much as we can, as much as that's possible for us, to help them out and get exposure. So it's just been, networking with users, engaging with users, and just figuring out, based on when you're getting followers, when you're getting likes, the appropriate time for your demographic to post.
Well, where do you see you guys going? So what's your next level of growth for you guys? This app seems really big, but is it just more of the app, more features, or where are you guys going next?
Absolutely. We're almost to 4,000 users on the app. We did a soft launch. We've been broadcasting a little bit on our Instagram. Nothing too heavy to where we're doing marketing and things like that. We want to make sure that this is definitely a beta transition period right here, so we want to make sure that all the kinks are out. But like I mentioned before, collaboration with other facilities and instructors to impact those markets. So we definitely see the growth potential there in working with them to, verify stats. the biggest issue that we have come up with since day one, and the biggest issue that we get asked is, this kid put that he threw 93 and he runs a 6.5. How the heck do I know that that's actually legit?
Yeah.
So what our mission is to collaborate with instructors and facilities across the country. That's going to be an access point for players to go to them and get their information verified. So that way, when a coach or a scout or someone else is looking at their information on their Prospect Dugout profile, they're going to know that it's verified.
That's awesome. I really like that.
Yeah, that's huge. So what age groups, I guess I should have asked that earlier. That makes sense. I mean, what age groups are your demographic is most popular on your platform, and is there other age groups that you're trying to build towards?
We definitely want to market to all age groups. With the way that baseball has evolved over the past, 15 years, it's gone from, post 24, post 88 baseball in the summer to everybody that is on a travel ball team. Yeah. So the youth demographic, the youth market is definitely huge, and we definitely want to impact them through exposure. Not necessarily, it's not going to be beneficial to them for college coaches and scouts, but it's definitely going to be beneficial for instructors, facilities, networking, sharing memories, connecting with players around the country, learning new things. And then when you get into a little bit older, 13, 14, 15, and then into high school, that's definitely something where a lot of kids don't know what to do. And I'm not saying that we know what to do, but what we do know is that you need to get seen.
Yeah.
And so we're providing that platform for you to get seen. So with the high school and the older travel ball demographic, it's definitely going to be huge for them to get their skills verified, to get their highlight videos up there, to get a recruiting video up there, their bio up there. And then for the college players, it's definitely huge because not everybody after college goes on to play professional baseball. We've got some things in the works with a few independent organizations or independent leagues to where they're going to be using our platform as a scouting service. So there's that for, the older college players or the fourth-year seniors who don't get drafted as a way to continue their baseball career. So there's definitely something available for every age group.
So for players just listening to this podcast, what do you recommend? How do they, if they want to be featured on your guys' platforms, how do they reach out to you guys? What catches your guys' eye? What do you recommend that they put in their videos, etc.?
That's a great question. We try our very, very best to get back. Everybody that's listening, we try to get back to your DM. It's very difficult because there's thousands of them in there.
Yep.
Just be patient. Just be patient. We will get to you. But definitely the things that are apparent, it needs to be good quality video for it to translate onto the Instagram platform. Pitching is great. Hitting is great. Fielding is great. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a clear video and you want to get seen, we're going to do our best to get it up there.
Cool.
Well, pretty awesome, man. I think you guys are going down the right road. I think obviously there's a big market for this. That kids need a lot of help on this. I mean, any last advice you can give to your demographic and these kids out there on how to best go at this and why you can really bring value to their careers?
Absolutely. I definitely think it's important for younger baseball players. Definitely make sure that you have an open mind. Not everything that you hear is going to be right. Not everything that you hear is going to be wrong. Make sure that you're using the resources that you have at your fingertips to fact check everything. Do some research on something before you discount it. But make sure that the content that you're putting up there, if you do have the desire to play at the next level, or, if you don't have the desire to play at the next level, but you want to be seen as someone that has good ability, make sure that the content that you're putting out there represents you as a player the way that you want to be represented.
Well, I really appreciate this, Joel. I want to finish the interview and keep talking about the years of us playing ball together with the surf dogs.
Yeah.
It's a small world. It's like everyone I talk to, I've played with them. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's awesome. Well, look, we appreciate it, man. Hang on the line, and we can't wait to get this interview out there, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So, I think the lesson learned is put together some great content on yourself and get it over to Prospect Dugout. Also, too, get on the app. I've already been playing with the app at this point and creating my profile. It's cool as a facility. I can put the services I offer, pretty much everything on the business and what I do. And for you as a player, you're going to be able to put your bios, more than likely, obviously all your videos and stuff, and really present yourself well. And it's really cool. I mean, we've been doing a little bit more of that with guys as well. We're even considering doing TopV Media. That would be run by Stephen Godani over there. But
yes, sir.
I mean, talk about, I think this is what it is. I mean, think what social media is. I mean, we're finding that even scouts and, teams are recruiting on these platforms. So, the better you can present yourself, obviously the more success you could potentially have. So I think that's why we're only considering doing this as a media company, just because we're getting such demand from our own guys that once we get them to say that 90 mile an hour level and they can get up on on the mound and show that off, then they turn to us going, hey, can you help me make this look really fun and catchy and get it out there? And that's why we've kind of focused in on it. I mean, don't you see that as like a good future for Top Velocity to be able to offer that to our guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like even how Joel was talking about where he wants facilities to where they're going to be certified facilities that can come in and verify these numbers. So it's more official for scouts and coaches. And then also, yeah, it's huge not only for our guys to come through and train with us, enhance performance, everything, and then once where they need to be, their product is where they want it to be. We have a platform that, I mean, it's nowhere near as big as Prospect Dugout at 140,000, but 13,000 followers, where we can start showcasing those guys. We can start putting them out through our social media, and that's, you've seen it recently with Al and with Jeremy Way and some of our indie ball guys, and I think it's going to be huge. I think as you keep going down with social media, I think this is just going to keep growing and growing. So,
yeah, I mean, we go more than Instagram, and we have a pretty good reach on Facebook. We got about
Snapchat,
almost 50,000.
Twitter.
We probably got just as many on Snapchat, and our Twitter is about 7,000. Plus, we got about 11,000 on YouTube. And so we work to also spread it across
all platforms, absolutely.
As well, but. I think that's the thing here. I mean, it's like, if you're looking to go through Prospect Dugout and you want to get some of these things that you want to record, these measurements you want to do, and you want them to be considered legitimate, I'm more than likely, sure, I haven't talked to Joel about this, but we could be seen as almost a certified facility for that. I mean, meaning if we went to him and said, hey, look, we sat here and recorded these guys and we witnessed these numbers, I think they would give you a check mark basically for that. So, I mean, if anyone out there needs help in the recruiting process, please reach out to us, but also reach out to obviously someone like Prospect Dugout. But he says he gets crazy DMs. So if you are reaching out to him, you're having a hard time getting through with him, reach out to me. I mean, I'll spread the word to him and see if we can help. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We want to help guys. And that's the one feel I got from Joel, because Joel – he talked about indie ball. He went out. I met him at the winter leagues, and he was in that guy going into indie ball, just trying to be seen, be heard, and then he got some time and he played all the way into the Frontier League, which is cool. So the point is like I think he feels he wanted to create this service to help guys, just like he got the help as he was coming up and get that exposure. So he's in it for the right reasons, and like we are in the same boat. I mean, we're in it too because I developed this because I tore my rotator cuff, and I developed these programs to help myself overcome them first and get to pro ball. And I really look out and do the same for the next guys and the guys that come up and use my program. So I know we're all in it for the right reasons, and we want to help. So, if you need us to represent you, like we said, with say our media company to put together a nice little video for you or a whole bio for you to get it out on networks like Prospect Dugout, we'd be glad to do that for you. Or if you want to come here and you want to do all the measurements or do all the training with us and then go through all the measurements, and we send that off to someone like Prospect Dugout in a nice format to be put on their app or to be put out there with them, we'd be glad to do that for you. And I think that's pretty cool. I think we could kind of join in this movement and help out. And I think they're doing such an amazing job with it, and they've really found obviously something that had a big need. There was obviously a big need for that, specifically on Instagram, and they filled that void, which is pretty cool.
Well, I mean, honestly, we've been doing, even on the show, we've been doing MLB draft breakdowns of some of the top prospects, and I really believe that this is how a combine could potentially start being pushed into baseball. If we're putting together micro content videos of athletes that are these minute long, showcasing their strengths, whether they have great vertical jump, great broad jump, fast 10-yard speeds, fast 60-yard speeds, their throwing velocity, and you really create these awesome little videos that starts getting pushed out to coaches and scouts. I think eventually that's how a combine would start coming together for baseball.
And shoot, man, here goes my brain. Throw that at Prospect Dugout. I hope they're listening. Like, that'd be a great feature in their app.
Yep.
Like, have a whole combine feature to their app.
Yeah.
So the guys come in, they put those metrics in, they're certified, and once they're certified, they go into the combine database, and you can go and search, say, Louisiana. Who's got the highest vertical jump in Louisiana through Prospect Dugout? Who's got the fastest 10-yard, the fastest 60?
Mm-hmm. The percentiles.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they can literally turn this into a full-blown recruiting database
or exposure. Yeah, however they want to do it. He was saying he didn't really want to get too much into the recruiting thing, but it would still be awesome to have those profiles where coaches could go on and exposure recruiting, kind of similar things.
Well, I think what they're learning is filling that need of exposure on these social platforms where it's a great place to do that. I think they're going to find that there's just going to be so many possibilities that they can move into, and I think they're in a good place. And like I said, they're in it for the right reasons, and I think they're going to be in it for a long time, and they're going to make the right decisions. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, that was another great interview. If you have anyone that you would like to request that we interview, please reach out to us or leave it in a comment. It'd be just cool to know that you listened this far. So if you actually listened to it this far, put in the comments that I'm still listening at whatever minute mark we're at. That would be interesting to know as well. But so this is good, man. We're looking forward to the next episode. We'll see you on the next episode.